Hello, guys. Welcome back to Entrance and Beyond. This is the first podcast of 2026. Wishing you all a happy new year. So, most students scroll through LinkedIn and see these big company names like Amazon, Barclays, Samsung, and quietly think it's not for people like me. Today's guest proves that belief completely wrong. So, we have Tuhina Tripathi with us today. She's from SRM Chennai. She broke all the barriers and all the issues that most people face, and she's like cracked three great internships, and she's been doing really good through her 4 years of college. So imagine the fact that they're basically 4 years of college, and she ended up doing three great internships, and most internships start after second year, so you can probably understand how well she prepared for these internships and how her experience was. So today we're going to dive deep into her entire experience and share this entire journey. It's going to be raw, unfiltered, and it is going to help anyone out who is confused and who hasn't secured the placement that they want to. So Tuhina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Hopefully I'm not pronouncing the name wrong, because it's
No,
quite a
it's
unique name. So yeah,
you
it would be great if you could introduce the audience as well. Hopefully, I didn't miss out on anything.
right. So yes, my name is Tuhina, and yeah, a lot of people just get scared to pronounce my name, and it's actually quite easy to do it. You can just walk up to me and say Tuhina, and yeah, and that sums up. That's my name. So yeah, so hi everyone. I am originally from Delhi, and I am currently studying in SRM Chennai. So yeah, north to south, big transition. I am currently in my final year, and just this week I have started my new internship at Amazon.
Okay. So before we dive into the podcast, I'd like to know your initial journey. How were you as a student? A lot of people have that curiosity because they feel that you have to be a topper since you're born. Some people are innate Einstein since they're born, so they're able to crack these internships or do well in their college life and do well in life after that. So yeah, who is Trohina before she entered college? Before she dove into this entire engineering journey and she dove into these big companies.
That is actually a very good question. So yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense that when you see people over LinkedIn and you just imagine that okay, if they are doing so pretty well in life, they have always been like that. But hate to break that fact, I was growing up, I was very average student. When it comes to academics, I wasn't like a school topper or yeah, whatever. I would just have like enough grades that like just be there kind of a person. So yeah, but there was one thing which I always just knew somehow for certain is that I loved computers. Like I, as far as my memory goes, I would just come back from school and I would just be on my computer for hours, whether it was gaming or just, going on different forums. I love to join different communities online, and I was just very fixated on it. So, from pretty early on, I knew that I wanted to do something related to computers. I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly, but I just knew that it has to be something related to computers. And I think that passion for computer was always there, even if my grades didn't always reflected me being, the star student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are things when you went into SRM Chennai? Because when you're in the first year of college, you have a lot of, you can say, burden from bad performances in your 11th or 12th grade. You have a lot of families burden that a lot of people they don't end up doing as well as they expected to, due to various factors, right? So you have that parental pressure, you have that society's pressure that Sharma ji ka ladka is going to such a good college, he's going to IIT or something like that, and you're stuck in some other college that they probably don't have an idea about. So how is that entire experience of first year, because it's probably a new place, new environment, going from Delhi all the way down to the south. So yeah, how was the first year of engineering? Like, how was it? Was it like three idiots or something, or any cool incidents that happened in your first year that you still remember?
Okay, so yes, I mean, yeah, that is actually quite true. But in my case, my parents were always very supportive. They never pressurized me to do something. Even choosing engineering was totally my decision. even if I did not have, the grades to reflect that I should go into engineering. But it was totally my decision. My parents, of course, they had their own set of aspirations, and it's always there, but
Yeah.
they never pressurized me into anything. So that kind of made things a lot easier for me. So during the time back then when I was choosing college, I actually chose SRM based on the NIRF ranking. So I'm the first one to enter computer science from my family. So I had this expectation that, college would be a very structured journey where,
Yeah.
where everything you would do would just make sense from day one. But honestly, at least in the first semester, I didn't know what exactly was going on. So, I mean, yeah, the second half was definitely better because that is actually when I started to get hold of everything. But honestly, yeah, first semester was kind of a big blur to me. One good thing that happened with me, or if I may say, I got lucky enough, was that I got access to LinkedIn very early, and I also got involved into a lot of college clubs. So through one of those clubs, I had this one senior whose LinkedIn I would just talk like almost every day, and that's how I came across this program, which was called Women Engineer by Google, and that was kind of a starting point for me. I just somehow knew that I should be in this program. So yeah, this is all what started happening in my second sem. But the first half, it was fun, don't get me wrong, it was very fun. But I didn't know really where things were going. I was just going through the motions, attending classes, making friends, but there was just no sort of clarity of
Clarity.
purpose. Yeah. Like it took time for me to understand that college isn't just about attending lectures, but it's about what you do outside of them that really counts.
Yeah. So now that you mentioned that senior, you can name the senior if you want to. But I think this was probably a pivotal point in your entire journey where you met someone who guides you. And I think that that happens with a lot of people, like in various domains, that you find this mentor or guide or someone who's just standing there. You're curious about their journey. They end up sharing a lot with you. You end up learning from their learnings, and you sort of get an experience, right? It's always good to talk to someone who's experienced, and especially when you're a student, it's better to talk with a student versus talking to a teacher or someone like that, because they have their whole different sort of expectations. So yeah, how did that senior help you? And you could, it would be great if you could talk about this opportunity, because I think it's still ongoing, and I think it's something that could probably help a lot of people pivot, who are in their first or second year, and do well in their future journey.
Right. So when I first joined club, honestly, I did not even know like where to begin, what to do, how to do, and what exactly am I learning, what am I learning this for. So these are I was before, in my first sem, I was somebody who was very shy to put up questions. But somehow there was just, a momentum started changing, and I just started asking questions to a lot of people. So when I joined club, I had a lot of seniors around me, and I would just ask them questions. I'm very confused what to do, how to do. Like there's so many things. As you have blockchain, you have AIML, and how do I know what is right thing for me? Like what should I be doing? So the seniors actually gave me a very good advice, is that you're in the first year, you don't have to worry a lot about what is right for you and what is not. This is the time where you should be trying out everything. Go get your hands dirty, go into AIML, go into blockchain, go into everything you can possibly think of. Try out everything and then start noticing what is something that works right for you. So I think that was a very good, very great advice that I got from my seniors at that time. And getting it early actually helped me conquer a lot of things in my later stages of life. And yeah, so about this program, so this is actually a program which is run by Talent Sprint, and it is funded by Google. So it is a 1 month mentorship. It is actually 2 year mentorship program, and out of which 1 month you are being called into attend a boot camp in Hyderabad, and you get to go to Google, have Google food. So this is for the eligible people are first year college student women. So this is called a women engineer program. You can just look it up in the Google. V 2027, I think that would be the program that would open up for you guys, and it would open around, I'm not exactly sure about the timeline, but I think it opens up around February as far as my memory goes. But yeah, so this is the program where you get enrolled and they guide you a lot. Like I remember when I went to Hyderabad, I learned things which I didn't even know existed. I got to learn about Linux. That is the place where I learned Git. That is where I started learning these programming languages called Scala, Elixir, and then Haskell. So I didn't even know that these are the programming languages. So that was something which was pretty cool. You get to make a lot of cool projects, and apart from that, the best thing is meeting new people and living with them. You get to live with them for the entire month, and it just helps you build this very strong community. I still am in contact with that community. Whenever you are joining a new company, you can just put up the message in the group that I'm looking for a referral, and people are just there to help you out with everything. So that is pretty cool community I got a part of in my first year. And that is where things started changing, and I started to understand and get idea of what exactly I should be doing.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good experience, I think, and it probably gives you a lot of confidence and inner boosting. Because, like, even going to Google's office, a lot of people are really awestruck with that as well, seeing how good the office is, the food, like you mentioned, the food, the goodies, and overall having that experience. And I think that's quite important because you're probably the average of the 5 to 6 people that you interact with. So in the first year, if you end up having such a diverse set of people, like having the opportunity to at least interact with such diverse people, it definitely helps you grow, and it probably gives you a really fostering and growing environment. So guys, I think it's pretty important to network, like Tuhina had mentioned, and I think networking is something that has also personally helped me even getting through with this podcast. So yeah, so please reach out to people and ask those questions. You never know which question's gonna change your journey. So I wanted to talk about DSA because with AI and ML coming in, there's a lot of questions about DSA. There always were a lot of questions about DSA, that DSA is dead, or do you even need DSA? And I wanted to talk about DSA from the perspective of all the three companies that you have interned with. What was its importance? And most importantly, how did you practice DSA? Was it pattern wise, or if you want to give a framework, like step by step framework about how you did DSA, maybe the mistakes you did, and how people can now do DSA with the fact that there are a lot of um, artificial intelligence tools that can help you out in DSA. They can help you understand the approaches and things like that. So yeah, company wise, what was the importance, and overall, like, what was your strategy?
Okay. So yeah, DSA. Coming to DSA, I would first like to share how I started with DSA, which is also very interesting. So I got to know about this opportunity that opens up in your second year. It's called Step Internship by Google.
Yeah,
A lot of people's dream. And somehow I made it into the interview of Step. So yeah, my resume got shortlisted. I got the call by Google that you have been selected for the interview and you will be having your interview next week. I was like, that's great, and I reached out to a few of my seniors and I was like, yeah, I'm having an interview at Google. So what exactly do they be asking? And everybody mentioned this one thing: nothing else than DSA. Like there is nothing else that can help you apart from DSA. And at that time, I was struck because in my college, DSA have just started.
yeah,
Like there
the
was this
subject.
course. data structure and algorithm, and it have just started, and I am about to interview for Google, which will be asking me probably graph trees related question, and have no idea whatsoever. So absolutely, I mean, I got rejected, but that failure was like, something that just woke me up. And that's when I realized what exactly needs to be done. And, I have to get serious about DSA. Like, not just DSA, I also needed, real projects. And I have to treat my interviews and whatever the companies that I'm targeting for as a dedicated commitment to myself and not something casual.
Yeah.
So for TSA, Striver was honestly god tier, and Neat Code helped a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, just earlier when I started going for DSA, I did not like it very much. I'll be pretty
Yeah.
honest. I did not. I'll be like, I would. There was also one mistake that I was doing was I was switching resources very fast. Like
Yeah.
I would go to this account, I would go to that account. I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm not understanding DSA. It's not my fault. It's the channel's fault that I'm following. So yeah, I would like switch on to my resources very quickly, but then I just made up my mind, and then I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna stick to this one thing. I took out Shriver's A to Z sheet, and I was like, I am going to follow this no matter what. I remember it was the vacations. I had my sem break, and that is when I started doing DSA dedicatedly. And honestly, by the end of my break, I loved DSA. Like I was the person who loved building projects. Somehow I transitioned into person where I was like, you know what, doing DSA is much easier than building projects.
And it's way more fun, like once you get that question solved, and especially once you see that time complexity thing, right? The first time when you see it's 100%, you're like, oh my god,
Oh my
like
god.
I read so well, but you end up finding out that that uh, depends on other factors as well. But at least for that particular moment, you're pretty excited that wow, I solved such
That's
a tough question.
insane, even when like, oh my god, I solved two sum all by myself. I wrote the code end to end and it works.
Yeah,
So
I even
that is
remember for one question, I think that duplicate question, right? You first have this random loop that you're counting
yeah,
the duplicates, and then all of a sudden you see the answer. It's like, no, you can just perform an XOR operation and then you'll get the duplicates. So you're like,
duplicate,
oh
yeah,
my god, what happened? Oh my. And it's pretty cool, like, especially like for the initial topics, it's fun as well. People get stuck at backtracking and all of that, but once you dive into that as well, I think that is even more cooler once you're able to dive into such questions like the island problem or things like that. It's pretty. It's like a cool experience. So what, based off of what Tuhina said, like the first message I think was pretty clear, that don't change the resources too much. Like stick to one resource, whatever resource suits you, but don't change that too much. And like try understanding the logic, right, behind solving these questions. And yeah, anything
this
else
this
you can add?
Bharat,
Yeah.
is a great thing that you have mentioned. The biggest mistake is treating DSA like memorization instead of understanding.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, they try to memorize
Correct.
solution to all the 100 problems instead of
Yeah.
understanding just 15, 20 patterns that can help you solve all the 500 questions.
Correct.
So that is one thing, that do not go for memorization, go for understanding. That is going to make you level up. And if you know all those 15 to 20 patterns, no matter what question is being thrown at you in the interview, you would know where to think of.
Correct.
So, this one great thing. And yeah, I mean, coming back to what you said about, yeah, the three companies
Yeah.
that I have worked. So, yeah, I mean, before the three companies, coming to the three companies, I would like to say that before these three companies, there were also six companies in which I did not make it in. There were a lot of rejection. I got rejected by Google Step, Google Sui, Microsoft, Intuit, and many more. So yeah, people see achievement online and think it was,
Yeah.
all smooth sailing. But I would love to let them know that there are a lot of setbacks attached to it, and honestly, I do not regret any of those rejections at all, because they have actually helped me a lot in their own ways. Each rejection have taught me something, what I was lacking, what I needed to improve, and how to handle those failure and bounce back. So yes, and
Yeah.
now coming to three companies. So yeah, I mean, all three companies are fun in their own way. uh, from the starting, from the selection point of view, all three of them are different. The type of work that you do is also different, and whatever they teach you is also different. So if I have to just take all three of them, when I was in Samsung, all my work was very research oriented. Like, they
Yeah.
would focus a lot on innovation. They would focus a lot on deep depth study into everything. They would ask a lot of questions like why, how, and sort of stuff like that. So it was definitely a lot more research oriented.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool. Like, you get to know, you know the technology, but
Yeah.
you get to know the fundamentals of it when you
Correct.
research it. So that was one great thing, very valuable thing which I learned at Samsung. Coming to Barclays, Barclays taught me a lot about the financial technology,
Mm.
how it is work in a very highly regulated environment.
Correct.
You know, in Barclays, everything is about precision, compliance, data. And this is somewhere I learned a lot about team collaboration in a corporate structure. So that is one great thing. In Amazon, I
It's just
mean,
been 1 week,
it's
but
just been 1
you
week.
probably learned a bit.
I mean, from what I have learned in my 1 week is how when they are thinking about a problem or building a system, they are thinking about how to serve a million of users. They
Yeah.
are all customer obsession, maintaining high standards. And one thing is, when you fail in Amazon, you fail fast and you reiterate back. Like, in a snap, you have to. So it's a very fast paced environment.
Yeah, it is good to know about all three experiences, and I think the good thing that you mentioned were the six companies that came before that, because no one sees that, and if you just look at social media, it feels like everyone's doing really well. Like, even for SIH, I've seen a lot of memes where people are mentioning that who lost SIH, because everyone's putting up a story that they won SIH, and if you just look by the general trend, you feel envy at times. Like, you shouldn't feel envy, but you do at times. You kind of feel like you're not able to do anything. Everyone's succeeding. You're getting rejected. But like Tuhina mentioned, she got rejected by six companies before she was actually able to crack these companies, and she got rejected by the same companies a couple of times as well. And that might happen with a lot of people, where you're getting rejected again and again. But it's important to keep on trying hard, learning, and knocking on the door till eventually some other door is going to open. But you have to knock on all the doors. Like, you can't just
And
get depressed
adding
after. Yeah.
adding on to that, I would say a rejection doesn't mean that you are not capable. It just means for that particular opportunity, you were just not ready yet.
Correct.
The
As simple
opportunities
as
are
that.
there for everybody. You are capable, you just have to make yourself capable.